Koholo, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Rachakwadash. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. Shalom, brothers and sisters. It's your brother Yashar with another epistle. We have some Canadian news. Grocery store closures loom amid labor product shortages. All right. Grocery stores are struggling with rising labor and product shortages that could threaten Canada's food security, so-called experts say. Now, the general consensus really is it's not so much a labor shortage, it's more of the fact that people are sick and tired, from what I've read, of course, of working these jobs and having inflation take a part, right? Inflation is going up, but the wages are remaining the same. So people are fed up of doing this low pay work and getting paid the same amount of money as they would like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And because of these so-called labor shortages, they have to do even more work than ever, and the pay remains the same. So before you had to do the work of, yourself and maybe half of another person, right? But now you got to do the work of like 4 or 5 people, and you still get paid the same thing. And these people are also from the point of view that they have to be so-called frontline workers. So couple that with the stresses of trying to pay bills, their mental health going down because, of course, most of the people that work these places are worldly. I mean, you might have some elect up in there, but they'll quickly get out of that sooner rather than later. Employee absenteeism due to workers calling in sick and protocols has hit about 30% at some stores. I want to know what they use to measure that amount, but continuing on, and is continuing to rise. Gary Sands, Senior Vice President of Public Policy with the Canadian Federation of Independent Grocers, said Tuesday. They're saying without access to rapid testing in many provinces, he said workers are repeatedly forced to isolate for a week or more after exposure to. If the situation worsens, some grocery stores won't be able to stay open, threatening food security in rural and remote areas that rely on a sole-dependent grocer, Sands said. So, starting with the mom and pop stores, but we know, especially if you're in this truth, what are they called? Automatrons are making their way into the mainstream. So really, before you know it, the people that stock the shelves won't be people anymore. They'll be robots. Hello, sir or madam, or, because they got to be gender fluid, right? Hello, person. How may I serve you today? And then you talk to it like you would Siri on the phone. I'm looking for apples. Apples, you can find it in aisle 4. And then with robots, you don't have to pay shit for them. You just have to pay for their upkeep. And of course, lawsuits if they malfunction and punch someone in the head. But that's much cheaper than having to worry about all these shutting down, having to pay employees, right? Having to deal with their H&R bullshit. Oh, Cynthia looked at me wrong. Oh, Timmy took a picture of me while like all that worldly nonsense. Continuing on, if we keep sending, this is someone in quotes, if we have to keep sending people home, at a certain point, stores are not going to be able to operate, he said. We're very frustrated with the lack of rapid tests for grocers. Now, you gotta understand, they've weaponized food. So they're not gonna let one of their weapons, run out of ammo per se. There's going to be something major that happens where it's irrelevant that these people are falling out. Whether it's hiring immigrants and paying, because goddamn, these immigrants, man, when they come to Canada or even go to America, they feel like they won the lottery. All right. So that's an option. Another option is, as I said before, the whole robotic thing, which is becoming mainstream. It won't be long before your shopping cart is probably a machine, right? Like we really don't know how far Esau Edom is going to take it. We just know that they're going to take it in that direction. Something about rapid tests, blah blah blah. Yeah, supply chain issues, including a shortage of truckers. But how is there a shortage of truckers when they're purposely saying, I'm talking about the government, they're saying that you can't cross the borders unless you have the Babylonian bee sting. So we could see that there's pressure from above and pressure from below. It's really not that complicated. It's practically 0 plus 0. Packaging and processing delays at the Canadian winter. This pretty much only affects the lowest of the low grocery store owners, right? Like Timmy's grocery store somewhere up in, I don't know, like Saskatoon or the Northwest Territories, owned and operated since 1895, right? Owned by Timmy Johnson and his son and his son and his son. We know that that Esau Edom, the elite, all right, they don't care about the lesser Edomites. That's how messed up they are. But of course, they're not messed up because that's what they're designed to do. In fact, I learned from Elder Apostle Tahar, which is absolutely amazing. He said if an Edomite does good, they're actually going against their nature. So if an Edomite actually helps you with no strings attached, and also they expect nothing, or they're actually going off. The same way that if we do wickedness as Israelites, we're going off. Go mother effing figure. Anyways, continuing on. Now, of course, this story is also propaganda. That's why I'm talking the way I'm talking, because if you actually read the news articles and you gather information from all sorts of sources, you'll realize that all this stuff is lies. 40%, blah, 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 blah. All right, well, that's basically the main course. The rest of the article is here if you want to read it. It was recently published. The title's right here. All right, we're going to move on to the scripts. So this is Ecclesiasticus. I know y'all see Sirach. It can be called Sirach, but Ecclesiasticus, chapter 39, verse 29. Fire and hail and what? And famine and death. All these were created for vengeance. Let's focus on famine. What does it say in the Slave Dictionary? Scarcity of food, shortage. So spiritually, this is a beautiful thing. This is putting the squeeze on the non-elect. All right, because these people in the world are so worldly that if there's a food shortage, they go crazy. They think of ways on how they can serve Esau, their daddy, even more so that their luxuries aren't taken away. Why do you think these people were given so many perks and benefits before the whole, 19 situation, right? I'm talking a little bit before 2009. Let's just say 2018. Practically everyone and their mom had a smartphone. Everyone's taking selfies, all these apps. right? All these ways to make money, basically plumping up the pinata, right? Only for it to burst. And how is it bursting? Just look at this. Empty shelves. You would think these companies, that could be a Walmart or a superstore, which I guess the American version would be like a Kroger's, right? So you see this stuff and people start to panic buy. It happens all the time. They hoard all these things, and then what happens? Because they don't have a spiritual connection to Yahweh Shemashai, which they never can if they're heathen nations, and if they're 2/3, so they are Israelites, but they're in an Edomite state of mind, they don't have the connection established to Yahweh Shemashai, not until they're reborn in the kingdom under the elect. So all these people are panicking, and it's just absolutely beautiful because it was created for vengeance. And us in the know this, but they don't. They really believe that all this stuff is a coincidence, that it's just happening without a purpose. That's what happens when you're blind in a world of darkness. All right, let's continue. This is Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So, carnally, food that feeds people is drying up. Spiritually, what feeds the elect, as well as the world as well, because even though they may not listen, the word doesn't go void. You're gonna have so many people that are gonna say, "Wait, aren't you the prophets that were talking about the end of the world?" But they won't be able to find them. Why? Because there will be a famine of the word. Once the prophets are taken off the streets, once YouTube pretty much shuts down, well, first the videos will be deleted, most likely, then YouTube will shut down, or whichever order. Once you go on Google and you try to type in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and then it says, "We are sorry," no search results, or you try to go on the dark web if you're a little bit on the clever side, nothing. Once there's no electricity, all you're going to have is your connection to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and the only way to have that is if you're the elect. Why? Because there's going to be a famine of the word. Just like there's starting to be a famine of food. That's why cannibalism is prophesied to make its return. Soon we're not going to see seagulls near the beaches anymore because they're going to be all fried up. You won't see leaves on trees. You won't see grass. You won't see little flowers like dandelions and shit. You won't see squirrels. And on some Moabite shit, some Chinese shit, you won't see rats and mice. And god damn, man. People probably get so desperate they'll start eating, like, what is it called, seaweed? You know what I mean? It's like we see the ship sinking because we're on a safe island, that island being Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Right, we're looking through our telescopes, which is the scripture, right? Because in order to understand what's going on, we have to understand the scriptures, which is all a gift. These people, on the other hand, are on the ship that's actually sinking. But it's so beautiful because it's almost like there's just a tiny hole in the ship. And they're cruising around, partying it up, living their life. But slowly the ship is sinking until one day they wake up and they're drowning. Just like a frog being boiled in a pan. It doesn't know to leave until it's too late. Alright, now let's boogie on over to Isaiah chapter 65, verse 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Now, this is talking about how the elect are going to eat, and the 2/3 of our nation, which are slated to be cut off, are not going to eat. We're going to eat carnally, and we're going to eat spiritually. How? We don't know. We just know it's going to happen. Yahweh Bashem Yashai Ratazah, I be of the elect. Yahweh Bashem Yashai Ratazah, that you be the elect if you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. But ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. We're going to be drinking the word. And when you're taking care of spiritually, it's only fair that you're also being taken care of carnally, because according to Proverbs 11:1, a false scale is an abomination unto Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Why are the 2/3 going to be ashamed? Because they rejected, ultimately they rejected Yahweh. They rejected Yahweh Shai. They rejected the word. They rejected his servants. They rejected everything righteous and accepted everything wicked. That's why death is their reward. It's really 0 plus 0, folks. So as you look around, man, Elder Apostle Aramlab, which I found out means lion's heart, I believe, which is a very fitting name for that apostle, that beautiful apostle. He was saying, listen, if you, when it comes to terms of just preparing, like as they call in the world, bag out bugs or bug out bugs, sorry, no, bug out bags, or just doomsday prepping, man, you don't gotta worry about all that, man. Yeah, if you can afford to get an extra case of water, extra case or extra bag of rice, he was saying, right? But ultimately, what we're going to need in those days is going to come straight from Yahweh Bashem Yashai. He did it with the manna when we were leaving bondage out of Egypt. And that manna, it was, I don't know if y'all brothers seen Dragon Ball Z. It was like the sensu beans that Korin gave to Goku. It supplied every single nutrient one would need, and it kept you full longer than eating a 5-course meal, right? That's basically what we're banking on, man. Our faith has to be sharpened. Why do you think we're seeing all this stuff happen? Why do you think Yahweh Shai, has us learn and prepare? Because while these people prepare carnally, some of them, these doomsday preppers, by buying carnal shit like guns and, bulletproof vests and all that shit, we're preparing spiritually, because our war is not carnal. Our weapons are not carnal. So with that, I hope y'all were edified. Shalom.